Welcome to the Idea Vault podcast, where we talk about big ideas from the inside of an old bank vault. I'm Lynn George, your host, director of Troy University's Idea Bank. If you're a regular listener, welcome back. It's season 5, and we are making a few changes this season that I know you're going to love. So get ready for the same great storytelling that you're used to, but with more tips, more resources, and more fun. If you're listening for the first time, let me take a moment to say thank you for joining us. By tuning in, you'll get to hear real stories of entrepreneurship, the successes, the failures, the struggles, the lessons learned. We'll sprinkle in some jokes, and we'll share some real local resources that may support you in your own entrepreneurial journey. Broadcasting from the vault in downtown Troy, Alabama, welcome to the Idea Vault podcast. Let's unlock your ideas. One of the exciting new changes for the semester is that we have an official Idea Vault podcast producer. Woo! Rihanna Thompson, yay! Welcome to the vault.
Thank you. This is my second time officially on the podcast, I think.
Yes.
So this will be my recurring weekly or bi-weekly segment of telling you guys what's kind of happening here at the Idea Bank, keep you in the loop with all of our stuff going on, our programs, just a quick little telling you what's going on.
Yeah, so Rihanna will have like a 5-minute segment each episode where she talks about what's happening at the Idea Bank.
Yes.
And what's...
Ding! Ding! There he is.
Little light bulb Watts.
Yes.
It's our official mascot.
Yes.
Okay, so Rihanna, what's happening at the Idea Bank?
Well, first off, we have new shirts.
Whoop, whoop.
New vault shirts.
Officially official.
Yes, love them. Basically, if you're new here at the Idea Bank for our first What's Happening segment, we are the Entrepreneurship Center for the College of Business. So if you have a side hustle or a business idea that you kind of want to try to make money off of and see if you can make it into a working business, we're here to help you, and we're here to do that. But this week, first day of classes are done. Mm-hmm. Students went back to school. I wonder how they all did. I bet it was great.
It went by fast.
Yes.
We're already almost in week 3, basically.
Student Made Store is back. Student Made Troy is back. So if you want to come look at what all the students, what they're selling this semester, come stop by. And we have 2 manager positions available. So the retail store manager is our new one. Yes. So if you know what I kind of did last semester with Student Made was kind of track inventory, set up the store, which was my favorite part of it, was setting up the displays, seeing what's selling and what's not. I think that's going to be a new thing that we do, kind of helping each creator see what's selling and
get a little bit more strategic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're interested in that, you could visit our website, DM us, text me, call me, whatever you want to do.
And that's a student manager position.
Yes.
It's a brand new position for Student Made Troy.
Yes. And then our other one that's available is events and partnerships. So you're kind of the main manager, really.
Events and partnerships manager?
Yeah,
you will oversee any kind of pop-up events, any kind of community engagement events, branch meetings for the creators and managers.
Yep.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun job, honestly.
And if you need internship credit or an elective credit in your degree, we can do that for you with those positions.
Yes.
So look at your self-service, and if you need an internship, let us know, because that could be your internship. So... the next thing is our business pitch competition is coming up soon.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah. The interest meeting is September 4th in JRL. So if you kind of heard about it before, but if not, basically, if you have a business idea, it doesn't have to be in full swing, or it can be in full swing.
No. Yeah. Any stage.
Yeah. You go through a few workshops, a few weeks of kind of developing the idea and getting ready to pitch at the end of the competition. And you could win money. A lot.
There will be cash prizes available. The winner from last year went on to win Alabama Launchpad, which has a lot of money involved, more than us, but we'll give you the start.
Yeah.
And then the winner from 2 years ago is actually still going strong, Alden.
Yes.
He launched his coffee roasting business.
Out of Fuse, right?
Now he's roasting coffee out of Fuse, and he originally pitched that idea 2 years ago and won our business pitch competition. So you can check out some of the previous winners on our website, troy.edu/ideabank, and then just come to the interest meeting and see if you're interested.
Yeah. That kind of wraps up our first segment. It was really quick, but all of our programs are in full swing. We have a lot more dartboard, the membership program for students. We have so many more programs, so please stop by. We probably have something for you. Really.
Yeah, and I'll add one more thing. It's buzzing over here at the Idea Bank. So if you're a student interested in getting involved in the Student Launchpad program, which is our business advising, you better get plugged in now and get on our calendar because it's filling up.
Yeah.
So come on by and see us.
Yeah. Thank you, Lynn, for my first segment, and I can't wait for episode 2.
Thank you, Rihanna. Welcome, Dr. Edwards, to the Vault. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Lynn. It's my honor to be in the Vault. It's my first time, so pretty neat.
It's kind of crazy that it's your first time being formally on the show.
That's true, but I've been inside this room, but never on the microphone. So this will be fun.
Well, we appreciate you being our featured guest. Just to kind of kick things off, will you tell us a little bit about your experience as the dean? How long have you been at Troy? How long have you been running the School of Business? What's that journey been like?
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I am about to start my 20th year at Troy overall.
Wow.
So I came in August of 2006, and at that time, that was to start. The university had been given a grant through the EDA to start a new economic development center, and so I came from Southern Miss to Troy and ran that center for about 3 years, and then Dr. Don Hines, who was the dean that hired me, he ended up with having cancer, passed away, and then Dr. Kay Sheridan was the interim dean for a year from 2009 to 2010, and I started in the fall of 2010. So
Wow.
16 or 17 years, I guess.
Wow,
something like that.
That's quite the tenure.
Yeah, it's like dean years are like dog years. So it feels a lot longer than it is.
Well, how have you seen the college change and evolve over these years?
When I first came into the dean's position, one of the things that was so much different at that time is we still had all of these locations with business programs across the U.S. and internationally. That was really just like a shock to know there's that many people. I remember the first year that I was dean, we had about 120 full-time faculty, and we had 315 adjunct faculty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a little wild. But the reason that I even wanted to be a dean, I was 36 at the time I became dean, and the only reason I was motivated to do it at that time was that as a graduate at the business school, we did not have AACSB accredited business school, which is the highest level of business school accreditation. When I took the job, that was my sole goal to do that. So yeah, there was things have changed a lot since then. It took, I think after the first year, I kind of did what they tell you to do in management is, just walk around for 6 months and listen to everybody tell you all the problems. And so then I guess it was the next academic year, we held our first, convocation at the beginning of the year, and I had to walk in front of them and say, okay, this is the path we're going on. We're going to close all these locations. And at that time, we had like 28 different varieties of academic programs. I said, we're going to go to 3 majors. And it took, I had them in rooms and said, okay, pick your best 6 classes. And that's
Wow.
Yeah, it was a challenge. But you can't be everything to everybody. And if you look at what we were doing, we had 80% of our business in, just a few majors. And we were running a lot of programs with not much return. And so that was really the big part of the start. So when I look at that time, it took us 7 years. We became AACSB accredited in accounting and business, and then we were just reaffirmed last year for business and accounting. So we have 6 more years before we have to go back and do it. I won't be there for the next one, but I have been there for these 2. And as a Troy graduate, that was probably the most rewarding thing for me. The quality of what we do is so much better, much more focused, increased faculty research. It really did kind of change the underlying culture of the college, because AACSB is really focused on continuous improvement. And so we just became much more strategic about what we do, documenting what we do, trying to show our impact on our students and the community. And so as far as one of the big changes, I think that was the biggest, at least in the first part of my career as dean. And I think the second part now that I see going forward is just how fast things are changing. When I talked to the faculty this year, my message to them was, my big concern is that our faculty can't keep up with the changes. And so, we're really going to have to help with professional development, with artificial intelligence, and
I was going to say, is it mostly technology,
it
AI?
is technology, AI, and the types of jobs that people have. Just a few years back, data analytics and computer science and those areas, were big hot job markets, and now they're in fast decline because AI is doing a lot of that work. I just think we're going to have to move more toward generalist in business, that I think you're going to have to really know more about, marketing, management, all the different fields. And that's why, what is going on with entrepreneurship here at Troy, that may be the most important thing that we're teaching our students at this point in time, at least. Not only just the idea of starting a new business, but if you can get students to think entrepreneurially, how do I keep innovating? How do I, take something I'm doing now, improve it to make the bottom line better? I mean, there's just lots of things that entrepreneurship can do for our students that we're fortunate to have what we do.
I do feel like a lot of our students are thinking more entrepreneurial than they used to be. Do you notice that at all?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's, I think if you go back, I don't want to go back as far as my age, but, there was a time when students would want to graduate. They were willing to work for a company or two through their career. These kids have they have no worry about jumping from one thing to another. So their attention span is low, but I also think that the job market dictates that. I mean, I think there's a lot more churn in professional positions than there used to be. And so
I feel like there's a lot of data coming out that's almost the opposite of at least what I was taught of sort of company loyalty, where you work your whole career with one company and you move up. And now it's a lot of, well, you need to be more competitive. If you change, then you might be able to make more money because of the competitive nature of it. I don't know. I've just heard people saying that. And then also, do you think it has a lot to do with just the way students grew up with social media and technology now, as far as attention span and always wanting something different?
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think when you couple the technology with the whole work from home trend, I think all of that made the ability of somebody to say, hey, I can live in Troy, Alabama and work for a company out of California.
Yeah.
And so it did make the competition much greater than it would be, when it would have been 20 years ago, where you just had everybody in the local area that where you were depending on for labor. These tech companies can go as far away as they want to get the talent. And so it's just such a change. And our students, though, you're right. I think the whole social media world and during the COVID years of kind of being, we're seeing these students that are coming through, and they're not as I won't say engaged. They're just engaged in a different way. And I think for people that aren't in that age group like me, it's hard for me to understand how they feel that engagement from a distance. And so we have to kind of put ourselves in their shoes and do what we can to help them.
Yeah, that is a challenge. I feel like that's a whole nother podcast topic, is how do you even do that? How do you understand new generations and the way that they think and prepare your faculty to teach them and shape them?
Yeah.
It's a lot to unpack.
I just saw a study yesterday that someone released. I can't remember the source, but they were talking about the cost that work from home has had on the exchange of information and teamwork within companies, and really reducing their productivity. And so, You know, because I guess you think about it, even like in the university setting, how much information do we share just by being in the same neighborhood each day? Somebody is going to find out something about, a project that we're working on or someone else is working on just because at that moment they're there at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
And communication's already difficult enough, and so to be so deliberate to share everything, if you're at a distance, it's almost too much.
Yes.
So a
I
lot of
agree.
informal communication makes us more effective, and trying to do everything formally. I think after a while people just turn it off.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely.
Right.
Well, I do want to talk a little bit about the Idea Bank specifically because that was a project that was born out of the College of Business that I know you were very heavily involved with, obviously. Tell us how the idea for the Idea Bank came to be and, why you think it's important.
Yeah, I have to think back, use my memory here. I know that the first thing was the idea of having an entrepreneurship program. And I go back to a student that I had, Avalon Dudinsky, who was a great student. She came from Panama City, Florida. And again, like I'm 6 years into the deanship, probably 2015, 16 time frame. And she came to my door one day and said, can you help me? And I said, okay, what can I help you with? She said, I have a business, and I can't get a business license in the city of Troy because I don't have a physical address. I live in the dorms. And I was like, I wonder what we can do about that.
Yeah.
But in the process of that, I asked her about her business, and she had started a business. She worked at for a couple that was down in Panama City on a charter boat that she had retired. They had retired, and they had this recipe for some spice they used on fish. And so she bought it from them, bought the recipe from them, and started producing it. And she grew it. She had it produced out of a company in Birmingham, labeled. She had it in Piggly Wiggly stores and things like that.
That's awesome.
And she was really motivated. And at some moment during that time, it clicked, like, how many of these students do we have walking around the campus that we're not doing anything for to try to help them get where they want to go? And so about that time, Regions Bank had decided to close this downtown bank that we're in now.
Right.
And they wanted, I think it was $1.3 million for the building. And I was looking for, like, what can we do to have an entrepreneurship center? And so that's how it kind of kicked off. And I had learned about one that was at Fort Hays State, that they had an entrepreneurship innovation center, but it also a living learning community. So they had students that lived upstairs, entrepreneurs that they had so many, and then they had their classrooms and what we've essentially developed here downstairs. And so that was my dream. My dream was like, oh, let's get 24 students. Let's build some dorm rooms on the second floor and do this down here. And so I asked Regions Bank at one point to just give us the building. Just why don't you just give us the building?
Yeah.
And at least they thought about it. And then
they cut the price, right?
Yeah. So there was a group, General Gavan, and I know there were several people that were working on it. And the next thing I knew, it was a $500,000 building. And so at that point in time, Jeff Kervin was on my advisory board, and Troy Bank and Trust kindly gave us the $500,000 as a donation to buy the building. So that's where we started, and so through time we hired somebody like Lynn George, and she ran, she started making a lot of things happen, and, we're able to raise some money from some different foundations to improve the space. And, Harold McKinney, who was also on my board, he was instrumental in helping us get started. And so that's kind of where we kicked it off. And then it's just grown through the years and continues to grow. And we're steadily trying to develop new academic programs around it. Just exciting. I couldn't be more proud of where we are. It's just there's so much that needs to be done, and I think we can keep growing and expanding. Through the years, we've had the SBDC Center here that has been kind of like a regional outreach center. It's just getting to the point, though, with student needs and community needs. And the entrepreneurs are getting younger and younger.
Yes.
So, I mean, we're talking to school systems. I mean, it's exciting, though, that this will be the future of what, develops our community and state. And whatever we can do to help them, we'll do what we can.
It's always good to be reminded of Avalon's story, because just something as simple as needing an address for a business license, like those are the things that students are struggling with. What do I even do for a business license? Where do I go? What do I put in the application? And how do I fill it out? And just little things like that we can help them with. And then now the Idea Bank is, the city knows we are basically a checkbox on the city's business license application of, if you put the Idea Bank's address, they approve it with me as, okay, this is a student working out of the Idea Bank, so we can send their mail there and we can send their license there, and we have a whole mailbox system. So,
I mean, isn't that great? Because I think about the progress that you made with the student-made store. If the student-made store would have been here when Avalon was starting out, she would have been, ready to hit the ground running.
yes,
and,
it would have been seamless.
Yeah. So we've learned lessons along the way, and hopefully we're doing what we can to help them.
Well, sometimes I know you and I have a lot of ideas, and it's hard to just
stop.
Yes, we can only do one thing at a time, but it's good. It's encouraging and it's inspiring to keep seeing students. It's definitely growing a lot. So I wonder, is the interest in entrepreneurship growing, or are we just finding them now? They might
Honestly,
have been around and we just didn't know.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it's both. I think so many students now through social media, if they're selling their clothes on Poshmark or they're doing things like that, that they're more inclined to engage in some form of commerce through social media, even if it's not a full-blown business. So I think it does give them confidence to think, I figured out how to sell, $1,000 worth of my clothes at Poshmark. Why couldn't I, start my own T-shirt line and do that? So, there's a more, I think, again, it's generational. I think there's more comfort with technology, and I think there's an acceptance, too, of my daughter's 21. She'll be a senior at Troy this year, and they just they're less worried about failure. I don't know. It's like they're not afraid to try different things, and the other is they're not going to do anything that they don't want to do.
That's true.
I mean, I don't think of all the students that we've had to teach through the years, these over the past couple, is if it's not something that they want to do, they're just not going to do it. And
they'll challenge you for sure.
If you think about it, I mean, I don't want to take us from entrepreneurship to accounting, but if you look at the profession of accounting, they are struggling. We're struggling to try to get people into an accounting major. So the whole industry is trying to, try to help them grow and get, the labor force where they need for CPAs. But they haven't done themselves any favors. I mean, people think that an accountant, somebody's going to sit behind a computer all day and add up numbers.
There's a picture of accounting, and it sounds so boring.
And so where in the past you'd have generations say, well, that sounds boring, but I can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
This generation's like, I'm not doing that. I don't care about the money. And so that's a challenge. But that attitude kind of drives the entrepreneurship part.
Yeah.
So it's a challenging time to be in higher education, but in a business school, I think that it's exciting. I think one of the things that we're doing this year is we'll have a new strategic planning year this year. Our 5-year plan just expired, and so as we work toward a new plan, I'm really trying to motivate the faculty to think more about creativity than corporate education, because we're still dealing with things like textbook publishers. We all like to lean on the textbook publishers, and there's still kind of the corporate mentality, and those days are just over.
Right.
And so we've got to have our faculty that are trying to help the students, generate new ideas. They're going to have to, as a first generation, a lot of our students have been first generation like I was. You come into a college classroom and you're probably not the most confident in expressing ideas and kind of, I guess, being a little more outspoken.
Yeah.
And so we've got to find ways to get our students to more hands-on, trying to, offer their own insights and opinions about things. And in my whole message this year was, I don't want to give away my strategic plan idea, but basically our job should be, making our students comfortable feeling uncomfortable.
I love that.
And that's
Yes.
what every employer is going to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a challenge for us to try to offer an education to make that happen. But we'll do it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, you say the word creativity, and it made me think about Student Made Troy. When we were starting the store, there was a whole conversation about how we called students creators instead of entrepreneurs or business owners, because a lot of these students who are entrepreneurial minded and they're selling their clothes or they're selling their crochet items don't think of themselves as business owners or entrepreneurs. They just think of themselves as creative, creators.
Right.
So that word can resonate with a lot more people who are entrepreneurs and don't realize that they are.
Yeah, I think that is a great observation because we are. I think the idea of being a creator, there's always some personal satisfaction with making something that you're just dying to produce, right?
Yeah.
And I think about the number of students that are making things and generating, even if it's not just artwork, I think, but new product ideas that they're not afraid to just step out there and try it.
Yeah.
And then when they find out they can monetize it or get some help to, get it out to the public to make some money, I think it's empowering for students, but it also proves to them that, my ideas mean something and I can
Right.
prove it because look at the money I've made here in the bank. So
yeah.
that's got to build confidence in students too.
Absolutely, for sure. Okay, so we've talked about students. What about the city of Troy? You've been here 20 years. How have you seen the city grow, change? How does the university work with the city?
Yeah, I go back a long way in Troy because I was a student. So I first moved to Troy, as Southerners will typically do. All of my Judson Edwards, the Edwards family has been in Pike County since the early 1800s. They're all buried out in a little area called Sandfield. So when I was a kid, my grandfather, he grew up during the Depression out in Josie, so kind of out in the county. So I'm one generation removed from Pike County, so I grew up in Smith Station. And so anyways, I came to Troy in 1991 as a student. So I graduated in 96, moved away, and then moved back in 2006. So like I said, going on 20 years. The university has changed a lot. Of course, that has changed the community in many ways. But over the past few years, through my time here, I've served on the school board. I'm serving on the economic development board now, so I've been engaged with things. And just the energy around downtown is exciting for me because, it wasn't too many years ago that there was, not too much happening down here. And to see it opening up more, particularly as it targets college-age students,
yes,
it brings a whole new dimension to attracting and honestly keeping talent here in Troy. We've had some big companies here for years, KW and Wiley Sanders and some of those large employers. I think adding Kimber to Troy was a really a big deal for us, and I think just because of the reputation and quality of what they do is a kind of a national, international brand. But the one most obvious is probably the retail development and things that have happened that makes it, people will never, I don't know, I guess people will say it, but you just don't realize the impact of what Publix grocery store will do to a town.
Because before Publix was what? Piggly Wiggly and
Piggly Wiggly,
Walmart?
and we had Winn-Dixie maybe at one point. I don't know. I know we had Food World at one point.
Oh, I don't know about Food World.
Yeah, that was way before your time. But yeah, the Publix, you could probably just draw a line in that point in time as when the doors of Publix opened, and how.
Wow.
Look at the number of housing permits that have been requested, and
Yeah.
it changed everything, I believe. And so
Do you feel like students are staying in
I do.
Troy more?
I
I
do.
know it's kind of hard to track that.
Yeah, I do. And I think the other thing, too, that's important is we have a lot of students that after they graduate that really want to stay around, too. You know, we have some programs, our RMI program, a lot of those students, you know, they'll take off to bigger urban areas. But one of the things that I've learned over the past few years, which is great for us, is Alpha Insurance. They did a kind of a deep look at their employment patterns in terms of where people went to school and how they progressed through the company. And I was told by one of their executives that Troy students stay and they progress better than any other university they have.
Wow.
And so
That's cool. That's
it
great to
goes
hear.
back, but I think it goes back to people want to stay in this area
Yeah.
that typically graduate from Troy, and I'm not so sure it's that way with all universities that they want to move to Nashville or Atlanta
Right.
or somewhere to live. But Troy's livability has also improved that as well. So,
Yes.
you know, overall, I think healthcare, the hospital has really taken steps forward much better. Overall, I'd say the city's in really good shape.
Yeah, it's a great place to be. Well, good. Well, I'm glad that you feel that way and that you've seen a lot of good growth. One more question for you before we wrap up, kind of some closing thoughts. What advice would you give to students or just anyone in general who's looking to start a business and pursue entrepreneurship?
I think the biggest thing is you don't have to know everything.
Yeah, that's a good
You know,
one.
if you believe in an idea or a concept, there's always talent, there's always assistance to help you see through what you would like to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to, you know, be pretty stubborn about what you think will work. I just think it's having a little bit of tough skin, being prepared to, you're going to fail, you're going to have some problems. You know, just it's not the end of the world. Just keep going, and I think that's one of the things today that I see so much of is just the toughness. You know, of like it's okay to fail. It's not not the end of the world.
I heard a quote one time that was failure is a data point. And I use that all the time now because if you fail, and it sounds cliche, but if you think about it in like a data collection mindset, well, now I have some real data to know what not to do, or I've learned this, or whatever you learn from your failure. So it's part of the process.
I mean, if anybody looks back on their life, I always learn more from a failure than I do from success. You know, it sticks with you, especially if you want to make improvements. But you have to not only just accept it, but be aware of it. You know, learn from it. Don't repeat it.
Yes.
You know? But yeah, I think entrepreneurship. But at the bottom of everything for me, and I try to tell this to our faculty, students, everything. Whatever you do, you should enjoy what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it should not ever feel like that it's something that you're going to have tough days. You're going to have, issues with your business. There's going to be things that will frustrate you. But at the end of the day, you should never take your time to do something that really does not bring you any type of happiness or moving you in a direction that will get you to where you want to be happy. And so, I think that's what I try to tell students and faculty all the time is when somebody walks in that building in John Robert Lewis Hall, they're going to be able to feel the environment that they're walking into. Mm-hmm. And if you have people that want to be there and happy being there, everybody that goes through the door will know it. But you have people that aren't, everybody will know that. And so my advice is if you're unhappy, go find your happiness,
We've got one life. Let's enjoy it.
That's it. That's it.
Well, this is really great advice. Thank you so much for your leadership in the College of Business, and thank you for joining us on the Idea Vault podcast.
Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate the job you do. You've done a great job down here, and people love to talk to you. You're easy to
thank
talk
you.
to, just like, you're hosting a show. So,
Thank you.
And I think that's critically important. Even you have lots of great ideas, but, to me, I think the thing that probably impacts people the most is that, they'll open up to you and tell you things, and that's important.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very, very welcome.
Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see y'all next time. Mari Alice, welcome back to the vault.
Hi, thanks.
So Mari Alice is back in the vault as a guest, former co-host of the Idea Vault podcast.
Yes, that's right.
But we asked her, don't run away.
I'm still here.
Too quick. We wanted to bring Mari Alice back into the studio to hear a little bit about her new role and the promotion she was able to get with the College of Business. So she is our guest today, our second guest of the day.
Woohoo!
Tell us, what's your new title? What's your new role? Talk to us about the job transition.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to take it like a couple steps back, because when I was in my undergrad, I kind of hit a point right after COVID. I was an impact leader, and I remember it vividly because I was kind of in a weird place between going from an undecided major to maybe business, maybe communications. I didn't really know. So I kind of hit this weird spot where I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I got to figure it out, because at this point.
Like we all do.
Yeah. Because at this point I was a junior. I'd gotten all my classes out of the way. I'd already finished my minor, which was in leadership. So both me and my dad were both like, you got to figure it out. So anyway, I kind of hit that point. Well, through the orientation process, I really found that I loved being with students and around students. So that being said, that kind of got my mind open to thinking about teaching or staying in the higher ed system. So that was kind of the start of that. Well, fast forward 2 more years, I guess. I started approaching the end of my undergrad, and I was like, okay, I know that I want to stay in Troy because through previous roles, I'd just fallen in love with the city, the town. My husband Clay had found a job here, so we just loved it. And I knew that I wanted to stay in higher education. So through that, I started looking at opportunities on TroyUniversityJobs.com, shout out. and I found the opportunity with Lynn at the Idea Bank. And so I pursued that, and thankfully Lynn took me in.
Literally.
And I started that role before I even graduated. You remember? It was two weeks maybe before I even graduated.
Wow.
So I started that, and at that time, I knew that I was just going to keep going with my education, go get my master's, knock it out, because I wouldn't want to go back. So I continued on with that. As I stepped into the role at the Idea Bank, I was able to knock my master's out in a year.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Very hard thing to do.
Yeah, especially while working full time. It was demanding. I mean, thankfully I had a good schedule where I was able to, get these assignments done by Sunday, get discussions done by Friday, all that kind of stuff, But I mean, it was still,
it's a lot.
a lot,
I took 2 classes this summer, so I had a month of what your whole year was like. I was like, I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she did this for a whole year.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were wedding planning at the same time.
No.
It was crazy. But that's kind of how I've always been. I've always just been
the machine.
Let me do it.
The machine.
All,
Yeah.
Mari Alice, the machine.
Yeah, Mari Alice, the machine.
I don't know about that. Let's not make that one stick. But I've always just tried to do it all, which is great because I do it all. But then it also is a lot, you know.
A lot.
But once I get through it, it's always such a good feeling.
It's so rewarding.
I did it. Okay, so anyway, back to the story. So I finished up my master's, and that really opened the door to getting back into the classroom, because the fall after I finished my master's, I was able to start teaching a Troy 1105 orientation class, and I just love doing that. It was so much fun to be in the class and to be around students, and of course I had the opportunity here at the Idea Bank. But there's just something different about being around those students who are in their first year, who don't know what they're doing. Like,
it's magical.
It really is. I feel like a lot of times at the Idea Bank, we found students who were kind of already on their path, like either in the middle of their journey or had already started their business, were looking to grow, like still very, still in a place where we could be very impactful. But with those 1105 students, it was like we were at the start of their journey. They were as scared as I was,
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, it was a really neat experience, but all of that kept teaching kind of in the back of my mind. So I've always really known, or at least over the past couple of years, I've known that I've really wanted to stay in the classroom as much as I could. So anyway, through the work that I was doing at the Idea Bank with the a lot of the marketing stuff, the PR stuff, I think that kind of showed the dean some of what I was capable of. And so he approached me while I was still in this role and asked if I would want to step into an opportunity at a higher capacity serving as the marketing manager, or it's really communications manager is technically my role now, but doing that for the College of Business. So
That's big time.
Yeah, it
Let's
was.
I pause and appreciate that.
Literally. Crazy.
Can we have a fake clap in there? Fake clap?
I don't know. That is awesome. It has to be such a good feeling knowing that like your work was noticed, like what you're doing is making an impression on people, and it's just you weren't even out there asking for a promotion or looking for anything. You were just doing good work.
Yeah, and it's really cool to like even look back 4 or 5 years ago, however long ago it was, to the summer that I was an impact leader and seeing like, okay, if I hadn't made the decision that summer that I wanted to go into communications, that marketing communications was the path that I wanted to pursue, that higher education was where I wanted to stay, like it could be so different now, you know?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool looking back like 5 years ago and thinking about where I was and where I am now.
Okay, but I have to tell a story about Dean Edwards at Convocation.
Oh my gosh.
I did hear about this.
In front of everyone, said that he was talking about Marialis and how amazing she is and the great work she does. And I was sitting right in front of him, and he looked at me and said, Lynn's probably going to, come push me off the stage because, whatever. He took her from me or whatever. And then he was like, that Christmas card, that was the reason why that's the reason why Marialis is over here.
And let's rewind even back to like the
Christmas card that Rihanna
that
made.
Rihanna designed. Yes,
did indeed design that.
Yes. So let's rewind even back, because whenever he came to me, like I guess it was around, it was even before December, but he came to me in like January again. And was talking about how amazing the Christmas card was and all that kind of stuff. And of course, I'm like, I don't design. Like that's not me. I'm not a graphic designer, but I'm a marketer. Like I know how to put words together.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, that really, the Christmas card was like such a team effort between all three of us.
Lynn told us what was needed to be in it. You told me how to word it, and I put it on it.
Yeah.
Like it was very.
Yeah. And then we figured out how to like get it out there and who it was going to. Yeah. And so, I mean, it was such a team effort. And I told him that. I was like, I did not design that. Like, I simply put the words together. Right. So, sorry, Dean Edwards. I hate to disappoint, but I did not design that.
It was me. I am here at the Idea Bank. If you ever need me, that was me.
Oh, he already knows.
Well, and that was something that he followed up with. Like, we said, I didn't design that. Like, Rihanna designed that. And I think that through that opportunity, y'all have gotten a couple more opportunities
100%.
to do.
Yes.
We're working on the magazine right now.
Yes.
Hopefully
like,
more to come.
I'm so excited for your promotion, not only for you, because, like, I got to watch you do good work just to do it, and you got a promotion. But now, like, I know you're in my corner in higher education. Yeah. So, like, I know I have someone that, like, if Studio 207 needs work, you're going to send it. So I'm very happy about that. And then also, like, him telling y'all that he loved the Christmas card, and then it was me. It's like, well, I know he knows who I am.
That's
so
cool. Yeah,
it's really cool. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, even just the fact that whenever we said your name in correlation to the Christmas card, he was like, oh, well, they're doing the magazine now. Like that, I think shows that.
And I like at Troy for students, this is like a thing I've been thinking about a lot, is like for students, you love to come to Troy because all the professors know your name. But then when you're on the faculty and staff side, well, you make friends in it, and then those friends get promoted, and then you get opportunities through it too. So it's like the same thing, like when you make friends that give you opportunities, but in faculty and staff, it's the same way. Yeah. So I think that's a really cool thing because we're so small but so big at the same time.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay, so one of my questions was basically what you kind of already talked about, but we can do it again. It's how did you think your time at Troy specifically prepped you for applying and then accepting the program coordinator job at the Idea Bank?
So I felt like my time at Troy, I mean, university-wise, like I really felt like I made the connections in the university
Right.
and got the education through the university to be able to step into a role where I was able to do a lot of different things. And
Yeah.
that wasn't only just like through classwork, but it was also through the organizations that I was involved in.
Mm-hmm.
While I was in my undergrad, I was also working for the city of Troy, doing
Yep.
their like downtown events, working with their local businesses, helping promote them. So anyway, a lot of why I felt prepared to step into the role as program coordinator was because of my work with the city of Troy, because I'd
That makes
already
sense.
made so many of those connections.
Mhm.
And it was really neat to me because I kind of just ended up merging the two.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
brought the
Yeah.
city of Troy, you know, a lot of my connections from there. And, like, not just me by any means, but, like,
But yeah, you
but
did,
I
though.
felt like I was able to kind of bring those two together
Yeah.
for myself through that role. So
Yeah.
that was a pretty neat opportunity. And again, it kind of was everything, like education, involvement, and work, you know.
Yeah. That
I
makes
will
sense.
say I do remember interviewing people for that job, and you stood out because of your role with the city and of your involvement in the community. So that's super important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the main
For
thing.
those of you who are applying for jobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a huge, and I could just tell that it was going to be a good combination of all of the things that
Yeah.
you had already done.
Yeah.
I've told all of the undergrad friends and students that I've seen it's that like your portfolio is one thing, especially in graphic design, but it's your personality, your work ethic, and what you say when you get in front of people.
Yeah.
So, and what you're involved in and all the things.
Yeah. Well, and for me, like, I mean, I could have gone through and gotten all A's, gotten straight everything, you know, which
Mhm.
maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. I'm not gonna disclose that. But 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 I really feel like being a well-rounded person and having well-rounded opportunities is kind of what took me a step further
Yeah.
as far as pursuing a job goes. So and it was very intimidating stepping into the role because I stepped in before I even graduated, and then Lynn left like a couple days later.
Gotta have a baby.
That
That is one of our questions. It was, that's our next one. Perfect. So basically, how was balancing your master's final semester, brand new, or your undergrad final semester, program coordinator, and Lynn being gone on maternity leave? That whole month and a
We
half.
have to have we talked about this on the podcast before, or do we just talk about this a lot?
We might
Of
have
how,
like mentioned
like,
it. I don't remember.
I was here for, 4 days?
Yeah.
And then I had to text Mariellis, I'm in the hospital.
Yeah.
Having a
Girl, on
baby.
Monday.
I literally vividly remember it because I started on a Tuesday, and that following, I was at a bridal shower, I think it was, in Birmingham for one of my friends on that Saturday, maybe Sunday. I can't remember what day it was. But I got a picture from Lynn, a text from Lynn, and she was like, so I won't be at work on Monday. And I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, literally.
But I mean, I felt like through everything that I had done and everything that I had been involved in previously, like I was set to be able to step into that role.
Yeah.
And Lynn, in the 4 days that you were here, you prepared me pretty well. Like we did
Okay,
some
that's
pretty we did some pretty intensive deep dives on those first 4 days. And I tried to stay out of your text messages throughout the summer.
I
But
was actually surprised at how little you texted me. Not
okay, good.
like I was trying to tell you, you can text me. I'm just sitting here with my baby.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. But no, you did great. I had no concerns whatsoever.
Well, good. Thanks.
But I can imagine that would have been a little
Terrifying.
intimidating.
Yeah. It was just a lot to go from like not even having graduated yet, you know. I
Yeah.
remember, I think it was the week after I started, maybe I had to take off, like close the building that Friday because I had to walk across the stage, you know. So it was like, I was like,
Graduate.
sorry, Lynn, we're just gonna have to close for
So funny.
today.
Two phases of life at the same exact time.
Yeah. But it was definitely a lot. But like I said earlier, like I felt like I got through it and am able to look back now and say I did it, you know. So.
Yeah, for sure.
So you spent 2 amazing years at the Idea Bank.
Yes.
What was your favorite memory?
Oh my gosh. There's a lot. Honestly, all of our grand openings, like because they just kind of built on each other. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like we opened the podcast studio, which was really cool because that initiative was already sort of in place before I got here. But I mean, there was still like nothing, you know,
Yeah.
like there was still, the walls weren't up. We didn't have the tables pulled in and all that, you know. So I felt like I did a lot of that while you were out over the summer. And then once you got back, we were kind of like strategizing, looking at how we were actually going to like implement it, open the studio, that kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool to cut the ribbon on that.
And I was there.
That was fun. You were
I was an
there.
art. I was an art and
Yeah.
design
Really?
student.
We
Yeah.
didn't really know you yet.
Yeah. No, I did not know y'all at all.
That's
Uh-uh.
so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that
That
was
was a
really
fun
cool.
event.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that one was fun. And there were so many people here for that. That was
Yeah,
neat.
that was a really good.
Everyone was so
Turnout.
excited.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, of course, the store, the student made store. That
I was looking at
such
pictures
a
of us
great
three
event.
from that day the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a fun event. We had a little block party, you know.
That was.
So that was
a
cool.
great ribbon cutting.
Yeah, and we had so many creators, like, you know, right off the bat. Like it
Yeah.
was like right off the bat, people were interested and wanted to become creators, managers, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool to see how much momentum it built, even just through a couple of social media posts and flyers that we sent out. You know.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, the response was great.
Yeah.
What's like do you have any funny memories, like silly memories?
Ooh. I feel like we might
Or
have
like
talked about.
laughable moments?
Yeah, I feel like we might have talked about this before on the podcast, and if we have, then you can stop me and I'll find another silly memory. But it was in one of the first, it was like probably August before we opened the studio, the podcast studio, and we had come in, I think maybe it was you and I, maybe it was me and a work study student, I can't remember, but we had come in and we were putting the foam up on the walls. And I think maybe we would have told this whenever we were talking about my nickname at one point.
Oh yeah, but it's okay.
But
Tell me.
anyway, so we'd like done all this work, spent a couple hours on it, you know, putting command strips on the back of these foam to get them to stay on the wall. Well, the next morning I come in here like all ready to, you know, admire our work and be like, wow, this is so cool. And I walk in and literally every single foam block was laying down, scattered across the room. And these weren't easy. Like we had to like cut these and
Yeah.
piece them together
Yeah.
and like all that.
Measure
So
it out and make yeah.
yeah. So that was silly funny. Now silly funny.
Now we can laugh about it. At the time, you probably were not laughing.
No,
Well,
no.
we're gonna have to nail it. But I was surprised that it would nail.
Yeah,
Because
'cause
it's
it's
a
like-
bolt.
yeah.
It's a metal.
Metal. Mm-hmm.
But they haven't fallen. So
Nope. Yeah, I think that after that, I was like, I'm done with this. I'm going to get a hammer and some nails, and we did, you know. But that was one of my favorite first memories,
Yeah.
you know, because it was, I guess, 3 months into me working here.
yeah,
And-
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, the podcast studio was a fun one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, my question that I was excited to ask you was, because now I kind of get to do it after you a little bit, is which one was your favorite program to help start and grow?
Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, probably the membership program.
Okay.
And I know that one's still like obviously gaining momentum, and it'll keep gaining momentum.
Yeah.
But that one was really cool because it started like, I guess maybe a year or so after I got here is when we kind of started talking about this membership program. And we'd gotten some funding from Innovate Alabama,
Right.
which was super fun because previously we were pretty restricted
Yes.
on
$0.
budget
Yeah.
measures.
$0.
So that was really fun to get some extra funding to just be able to like brainstorm and actually put things into action. Previously we'd brainstormed a lot, but it was kind of like, what can we do with what we have? What can we do with this? You know, which is how, I mean, anyone is in any role. There's always budget and, you know, financial restrictions that are in place. But
Right.
for some more than others, obviously. So, anyway, for us, it was really tough to kind of get things rolling when you didn't have the money.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that funding, we were able to draw a lot of new programs, and the membership program was one of my favorite because it really kind of tied a bow on the work that I had done with the city
Yeah.
and trying to like reach out
I
to
didn't think about
business
it that
owners.
way. Yeah.
Plus the work that I'd been doing at the Idea Bank, like
Yeah.
trying to grow that program. So that was pretty neat
You have to
because
connect it both
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
That's cool.
and a lot of those like first members and some of the first people who, you know, had reached out inquiring about what the program was were people that I had met in my previous role through the city
Yeah.
or even just, I mean, it's a small town, you know, so even just like people that I knew from around.
Yeah.
Like JoJo, Meredith, we're like close family friends, you know, so it was
Yeah.
cool to like hear her story of leaving her real estate company that she was with and starting her own company
Right.
and looking for a space and an opportunity to be able to help that grow, you know.
Yeah.
So
So cool.
just hearing different stories like that and knowing the people and being able to kind of bring both the community and Idea Bank / university together was really cool. It's one of my favorite
Yeah.
programs.
I would not have thought about it that way. That's
Yeah,
so cool.
no, that was a really cool perspective on that.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think your job at the Idea Bank prepared you for your new role as communications manager?
That's a really good question. So I feel like in a lot of ways it prepared me to identify our audiences because through so many of the programs that we had, they were really catered towards different audiences. Like we
Yes.
had Student Made, which was catered towards specific current student entrepreneurs.
Yes.
The podcast studio was catered towards creators, people who were looking to grow in the creative space.
Right.
Membership program was towards local businesses, people just starting, people working from home, you know, that kind of stuff. So I feel like through that, I really got a good sense of like how to identify who I'm trying to reach.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was really fun for me in the role that I was in because I felt like as a marketer, as a communicator, I was just kind of like connecting the dots, you know,
Yeah.
between, okay, here we have this program, here we have this person that we're trying to reach. How do I meet them? How do I connect those? And that's really what I'm doing now,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
You know, like a lot of the stuff that I'm putting out, and I mean, I've only been in this role for like 2 months now, so
But still.
obviously still getting my footing and figuring it out, you know, but that's a lot of what I find myself doing now is like, okay, here's this program or here's this message that I have that's going towards faculty, staff. How do I get that message to them? Like what platform do I
Yeah.
use? What messaging system? What methods do I use to get that message to them?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, same with as we've started having students come back around, like, you know, I have these messages that need to go out from the college, from the departments, that kind of stuff,
From
the
us.
centers. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. How do I get that message to them in the most effective way?
Right.
So I really feel like through working at the Idea Bank, I really clearly was able to define, like, who's this audience or who's this message going towards and how do I meet them?
So how do we get students to listen to us?
Well, I mean,
we all want to know.
yeah. I don't have, and I'm never
Just
going to sit
kidding.
here and tell you that I have like the perfect answer to anything. That's something that I've emphasized since I've stepped into this role. First thing that I've emphasized is that I'm not a designer. I got up there the other day and I had like updates for the college and whatnot. And I got up there and I was like, I'm going to tell you what I'm not. I said I'm not a designer.
I'm not a designer.
I do not have a background in graphic design, but I am a communicator.
I know someone
how
who
to get
does.
yeah, I know how to get your message across.
Right.
And I said, I have an eye for graphic design just because I've been around it, you know. I can do basic things, but at the end of the day, I'm not a designer.
Right.
So I very clearly gave him that. And then I also
Good.
said, like, I do my best, right? Like,
Right.
I do my best with what I have, with the resources that I have, and I want to make sure that the college is showing its best face.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put something out there just to put it out there. And I think that's something that a lot of departments and centers can take away. Like, if you're doing something, departments, centers, businesses, anyone, honestly, if you're doing something just to do it, like, it's not really
Right.
worth it,
Yeah.
you know? If you're not doing something to have it, like, be the best thing that you can make it, then
What's the
it's
point?
not worth it.
I love that.
Okay. Well, something I
flip
wanted
that.
to, yeah, literally.
Ching.
That's what I'm saying. So you had mentioned to me multiple times before you got promoted, getting your doctorate. Is that
Yeah.
still on the table?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. It's really, as of right now, it's kind of just a matter of like where, I'd say where mainly that I want to get it.
Okay.
Because as a person in higher ed, it's really important to have, and I feel like I keep saying well-rounded. I don't know why I keep saying that word, but it's really important to have a well-rounded education
Right.
that pulls, different learning and teaching methods from different places. So where I'm kind of stuck right now is like my easiest option is to go to Troy and to get my, global leadership something degree, and to do that and that be that.
Right.
But for myself, I kind of have to take a step back and think like, is that what's going to give me the best experience and
Exactly.
the most that I can possibly get out of another program?
Yeah.
And also, is it going to give me the most that I can bring back and pour back into Troy,
Yeah.
So that's kind of a rock and a hard place right now because, I could get tuition assistance and I could do like all that,
all the
easy things
Yeah.
through Troy. But I'm kind of stuck right now as far as like that. And of course, we're having a baby in December. Clap, clap, clap. Hopefully not crickets.
Congratulations.
Or boo.
I'm trying to think if there's another appropriate sound effect for
Confetti.
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thanks.
Yay.
Yeah, we're really excited. So we'll be having a little baby girl in December. And we're super excited about that. But obviously with that, it'll just kind of add a whole nother component. Component is not even the right word. Like a life-changing
Lifestyle?
event, to our life. So just trying to think of my timing there and what the best direction and
because
timing is gonna
ultimately,
be
if
like
you get
there.
your doctorate, I'm gonna get it too. I'm like, if Marialis can do it, I can do it. Like literally,
girl,
I
I'll
was like,
start tomorrow.
I'm like, Marialis is a machine, and I'm a little bit of that. So I'm like, if Marialis can have a baby and get her doctorate, I'm getting my doctorate. Ultimately,
Marialis can do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
for sure.
Listen, if it'll make you do it, then I guess I'll suck it up.
do
it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, all right. Well, we need to wrap it up because Marialis is an important woman and
She
she's got
is.
places
She's
to
a busy
be
woman.
and
Meetings
people to
and
meet
lunches.
with.
And
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for coming
thank
back to
y'all.
hang
Yeah.
out with us for a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, Marialis is still around. She's
Yeah.
rocking and
Yes.
rolling in the Sorrel College of Business. She'll be popping in and out of the Idea Bank for all of our cool events.
Yes, that's
And,
right.
Yeah, good luck with everything. Congratulations on all of
Thanks.
your success.
And your
Thanks,
baby.
all
Yes,
the things. Yeah,
yes.
thank y'all for having me. This was
Of
really fun to
course.
come back and do a little reflection, but also just talk to y'all.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye,
thank y'all.
Marialis.
Bye, Marialis.
Thank you for joining us for episode 1 of season 5 of the Idea Vault podcast. We're so excited for this season. I hope you enjoyed the new format and the fun new segments that we have. I hope you enjoyed our interviews with Dean Edwards and Marialis McCall, and we're able to take something away from their interviews. I know that I did, talking about how failure is a data point and don't be afraid of failure. It's all part of it. You're going to learn more from it. I feel like anyone who's ever pursued entrepreneurship or starting a business could probably say the same. And then Marialis, I think, is just such a good example of do good work, take pride in your work, whatever it is. Even if you feel like you're overqualified, even if you're not where you want to be, just do good work and you will reap the benefits and people will notice your attitude and the quality of your work. So just work hard. Marialis is definitely a good example of that. And then lastly, just don't forget to enjoy the ride. We only have one life to live, so enjoy it. Find joy in whatever it is that you're doing. Again, hope you found some inspiration on today's episode of the Idea Vault podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode. We look forward to seeing you guys back at the Idea Bank this semester, and we'll see you next time.